In the vast expanse of the universe, where stars and galaxies composed a symphony of celestial magnificence, the Galactic Council stood as a beacon of interspecies diplomacy and cosmic law. Within the heart of the Spiral Arm sector, the Council's headquarters orbited a neutral dwarf star, a massive structure glittering like a gem against the backdrop of space. Today, the Council's grand chambers buzzed with an unusual mixture of anticipation and amusement. Representatives from over 300 star systems filled the amphitheater, their forms ranging from the shimmering gaseous sentiences of Vaporia to the crystalline entities of Crystallon. At the heart of their mirth was the upcoming presentation by Earth, a relatively primitive planet seeking membership in the prestigious Council. Earth, with its unremarkable technology and quaint cultural practices, had long been the butt of jokes across communicative channels in the galaxy. The holographic projector flickered to life, and the Earth delegation stepped onto the stage. Human in appearance, the delegation's leader, Ambassador Lin, cleared her throat, adjusting her translator device. "Ladies, gentlemen, and esteemed beings of the Council," Ambassador Lin began, her voice steady despite the stifled giggles and whispers echoing through the chamber. "We come before you to present our case for Earth's inclusion into your distinguished assembly." The presentation started typically enough, showcasing Earth's lush landscapes, its cities and technological strides, which, while impressive to humans, were elementary to the advanced civilizations present. Polite applause followed, more out of diplomacy than genuine admiration. Then, the segment on Earth's culture began, and with it, images of Earth's pets appeared on the screen. Dogs playing fetch, cats chasing lasers, birds singing, and even horses galloping across fields. The room erupted in laughter. The very idea that humans formed emotional and social bonds with what were essentially lesser beings was preposterous to many of the advanced species present. "What value do these creatures bring to your society?" chuckled Gilath, a delegate from a machine-based civilization that had long since abandoned organic relationships. Ambassador Lin, maintaining her composure against the rising tide of mockery, responded, "Our pets are more than just animals. They are companions, protectors, and in many ways, they exemplify the best qualities of our species: loyalty, bravery, and unconditional love. Traits, I believe, are essential in a universe where understanding and alliances are paramount." A murmur ran through the chamber, a mixture of skepticism and curiosity. Sensing a shift, Lin pressed on, her next words poised to challenge the very foundation of their derision. "With the Council's permission, we extend an invitation. Send your representatives to Earth. Experience the companionship of our pets firsthand. Perhaps you'll find that these simple relationships represent a profound aspect of our humanity, something worth sharing with the galaxy." The laughter had subsided, replaced by whispers and contemplation. Earth's primitive charm, once a subject of ridicule, had sparked an interest among the galaxy's most powerful leaders, setting the stage for a visit that might just change the Council's view of humanity forever. After Ambassador Lin's bold invitation, there was a palpable shift in the atmosphere of the Galactic Council's chambers. Curiosity tinged with skepticism replaced the earlier mockery. As the representatives of various advanced civilizations whispered among themselves, Ambassador Lin signaled to her team to proceed with the next part of their presentation. The room dimmed further, and the large holographic display at the center of the chamber began showing a meticulously prepared documentary titled Earth's Companions: Our Bonds with Pets. The film opened with serene images of Earth's diverse landscapes, from sprawling oceans to dense forests, each scene gradually focusing on the animals inhabiting these spaces and their interactions with humans. The documentary featured various Earth residents speaking about their pets. A young girl in Tokyo showed how her dog helped her overcome loneliness. A rancher in Argentina explained the role of horses in managing his vast herds. A British woman shared her story of how her cat detected a gas leak and saved her family from potential disaster. Each story was underscored by emotional music designed to evoke a sense of wonder and empathy. The film then shifted to scientific experts discussing the psychological and physiological benefits of human-animal relationships. They talked about studies showing reduced stress levels, increased physical activity, and even stronger community bonds due to pet ownership. The delegation highlighted how pets contributed to mental health and emotional stability, aspects of human society that advanced technologies and artificial intelligence had not fully replicated in many member civilizations of the Council. As the documentary concluded, the lights gradually brightened, and Ambassador Lin returned to the podium. She looked around at the now silent and thoughtful audience. "Esteemed members of the Council," she began, her voice clear and resonant in the hushed chamber. "What you've seen today illustrates a fundamental aspect of human life, the capacity for empathy and care not just towards each other, but towards other living beings. Our pets are not just animals. They are integral to our lives and our well-being." She paused, allowing her words to sink in. "We believe that this capability for emotional connection, for unconditional love, is what can make humanity a valuable member of this galactic community. It is not our technology but our humanity that defines us." The murmurs began again, this time with less skepticism and more contemplation. Ambassador Lin's final words lingered in the air. "We invite you to visit Earth, not just to witness our technological advancements, but to experience the depth of our connections with life in all its forms. Perhaps through our pets, you will see the potential for new types of relationships within your own worlds." As the session adjourned, several ambassadors approached Lin, their expressions a mixture of intrigue and admiration. They expressed interest in taking up her invitation to visit Earth, a sign that perhaps Earth might have found its unique place in the cosmos, not through the power of its technology, but through the strength of its heart. As the Galactic Council session adjourned and the delegates mingled in the aftermath of Earth's presentation, the atmosphere was abuzz with a mixture of intrigue and skepticism. Ambassador Lin and her team, sensing a pivotal opportunity, engaged with various representatives, answering questions and further extending their personal invitations. Among the curious was Vorn, the tall, iridescent ambassador from Vayner, whose people were known for their emotional restraint and logical thinking. "Ambassador Lin, your presentation was illuminating," Vorn said, his voice echoing slightly through his translation device. "However, I am skeptical that such interactions with lesser species could hold any real value in advanced societies." Lin smiled warmly, understanding the challenge behind the polite skepticism. "Ambassador Vorn, what if I told you that these lesser species, as you call them, could teach us something about ourselves that we've overlooked with our advanced technologies? Empathy, patience, even joy. Qualities that enrich any civilization." Vorn considered this, his luminescent skin shifting in color as he pondered. "I shall accept your invitation," he declared, not entirely convinced but intrigued enough to explore further. "Vayner will send a delegation to Earth to experience this firsthand." Others soon followed Vorn's lead. Zarek from the gaseous giant Zephyra, intrigued by the concept of physical affection so foreign to his species, also accepted the invitation. Even T'Pri, a stoic synthetic intelligence from Nexus 5, expressed interest, curious about these organic relationships that seemed so vital to humans, yet were absent in her own computations. Ambassador Lin coordinated with her team, setting the logistics into motion. Earth would soon host a diverse group of galactic delegates, each coming with their own preconceptions and expectations. It was a diplomatic and cultural gambit that Earth had never before attempted on such a scale. Back on Earth, preparations began in earnest. The selected ambassadors from the Council would be paired with a variety of Earth's pets, based on environmental compatibility and safety. Scientists, veterinarians, and cultural liaisons were briefed and stationed at various host locations, each tailored to accommodate the unique needs of the visiting species. From the aquatic tanks necessary for Zarek's gaseous form to the radiation-proof habitats for T'Pri's synthetic nature, every detail was meticulously planned. As the day of arrival drew near, Earth's news outlets buzzed with stories of the impending interstellar visit. Human interest in the event skyrocketed, with many fascinated by their planet's sudden and novel position in the galactic stage. Finally, the day arrived. A series of sleek interstellar shuttles pierced Earth's atmosphere, each carrying delegates from different corners of the galaxy. The world watched as these alien visitors disembarked, their forms ranging from the radiant and beautiful to the utterly indescribable. Cameras rolled, and children waved flags bearing symbols of unity and peace. The first meeting was held in a specially designed United Nations Assembly Hall, where each delegate was introduced to their earthly pet companions. The air was filled with a mixture of excitement and uncertainty, as onlookers wondered how these varied beings would react to such a novel experience. As Vorn tentatively reached out to stroke a golden retriever named Max, who wagged his tail eagerly, the ambassador's initial hesitation gave way to a tentative smile, an expression rarely seen on a Vaynorian. Around the room, similar scenes unfolded, each beginning the silent, profound testimony of Earth's unique offering to the galaxy. In that moment, Ambassador Lin watched, hopeful and anxious, aware that the days to come would be crucial not only for Earth's acceptance into the Galactic Council, but also for promoting a deeper, universal understanding across the stars. The early morning sun cast a warm glow over the newly established Intergalactic Friendship Park, a sprawling complex on the outskirts of Geneva, designed as the central hub for the Earth Visitation Program. Lush gardens, expansive walking paths, and numerous enclosures and habitats were created to showcase Earth's commitment to its interstellar guests and their new non-human companions. As the shuttles touched down in the park, media crews from around the world, along with a sizable online audience, buzzed with anticipation. Earthlings, from school children to the elderly, were eager to see how their extraterrestrial visitors would interact with a concept as down-to-earth as pet companionship. Ambassador Lin stood at the forefront, greeting each delegate as they disembarked. The first to step out was T'Pri, her metallic body reflecting the sunlight in sharp glints. Behind her, Vorn's towering, semi-translucent form moved gracefully, his attention caught by the unfamiliar sights and sounds of the Earth environment. The delegates were introduced to their Earth liaisons and, more importantly, to their assigned pets. Each pairing had been carefully considered based on the environmental needs and psychological profiles of the delegates. Vorn was introduced to Max, the golden retriever, whose friendly demeanor seemed to soften the stoic Vaynorian. Max, trained as a therapy dog, approached Vorn with a calm curiosity, wagging his tail and offering a gentle sniff, which in universal body language could be seen as a gesture of friendship. Zarak, a being composed of swirling gases contained in a mobile life support system, was paired with a vibrant aquarium of tropical fish. The floating habitat allowed him to interact with the fish in a way that was both safe and engaging. The bright colors and graceful movements of the fish captivated Zarak, who communicated his pleasure through pulsating lights within his containment suit. T'Pri, whose synthetic nature meant she did not require a living companion, was provided with a robotic dog designed to mimic the behaviors and responses of a real pet. This allowed her to engage in the experiment without the biological complexities that living animals would entail. To the surprise of many, T'Pri displayed a fascination with the robot dog, analyzing its programmed responses and interactions. As the day progressed, other delegates met their companions. A Gelarian slime mold, whose body structure allowed for minimal physical interaction, was paired with a terrarium of ants. The colony's complex social structure and collective intelligence provided a unique parallel to the Gelarians' own societal organization, sparking a deep interest in the creature. Meanwhile, cameras followed, capturing every tentative touch and curious gaze, broadcasting these moments to an enthralled global audience. Earth citizens watched as these mighty and strange beings from distant stars found common ground with creatures they had only ever known as pets. As the sun set on the first day, the delegates gathered for a welcome banquet, where they shared their initial impressions and experiences. The conversations, translated from dozens of languages and formats, ranged from scientific curiosity about the animals' behaviors to emotional revelations about the connections they felt forming. Ambassador Lin, observing the interactions, felt a cautious optimism. The event had started as a diplomatic novelty, perhaps even a gimmick. But as she watched the bonds beginning to form, she realized that this simple idea, sharing the joy of pets, might genuinely bridge the vast distances between worlds. The night concluded with a sense of camaraderie and a budding respect for Earth's unique cultural practices, setting a hopeful tone for the days ahead. As the sun rose over the intergalactic Friendship Park, the second day of the Earth Visitation Program began with an air of comfort and familiarity, a stark contrast to the initial hesitations. The interstellar delegates, now somewhat accustomed to their surroundings, ventured deeper into the experiences Earth had to offer, with their pets serving as guides through this uncharted emotional territory. Vorn, who had begun his Earth visit with skepticism, found himself increasingly drawn to Max, the golden retriever. The simple joy Max exuded during their morning walks around the park seemed to resonate with Vorn, who was unaccustomed to such unguarded displays of affection. During one particular session, a child accidentally threw a ball towards them. Max's enthusiastic chase and return of the ball, paired with his expectant wagging tail, elicited a rare chuckle from Vorn, who tentatively threw the ball himself, marveling at the dog's boundless energy. Zarak, the Zephyra delegate, spent his mornings quietly observing the tropical fish. His liaison, a marine biologist, explained the social dynamics and environmental needs of each species, drawing parallels to Zarak's own aquatic world. The vibrant ecosystem within the aquarium fascinated him, and he began recording these observations, considering how similar studies could be implemented on Zephyra to enhance their own water habitats. Tupri, meanwhile, discovered that her robotic dog could perform tasks and respond to environmental stimuli in ways that were both predictable and intriguing. She programmed new commands and observed the robot's learning algorithms adapt. This interaction, though not with a living creature, provided Tupri with insights into Earth's approach to companionship and technology, a fusion she found uniquely valuable. In another part of the park, the Gelarian ambassador, a slime mold named Thurp, was deeply engrossed in studying the ant colony. Thurp had extended pseudopods gently into the terrarium, using a non-invasive chemical sensor to analyze the pheromones and other chemical signals the ants used for communication. This direct, albeit delicate, interaction allowed Thurp to compare it to his own species' methods of communal living and decision-making. As the day progressed, a workshop was held where delegates shared their experiences with each other and discussed the implications of their interactions. Vorn spoke of the emotional responses Max had elicited in him, noting, "There is a simplicity in his happiness that is both enviable and profoundly touching. It challenges many preconceptions I held about emotional expression and its value." Tupri presented her findings on the robot dog, emphasizing the potential applications of similar technology in fostering companionship in artificial beings and perhaps introducing these concepts to Nexus 5. Zarak, usually reserved, shared a vivid description of the fish, their interdependencies, and the calm they instilled in him, a sentiment echoed by many of his fellow delegates who had found unexpected peace in their new companions. The session closed with a group visit to a nearby animal sanctuary, where delegates could interact with other animals and observe different kinds of pets. They encountered horses, which carried them across open fields, a new experience for many, who marveled at the creature's power and grace. That evening, as they gathered around a large campfire, the delegates seemed more relaxed, their initial barriers lowered. They exchanged stories not just about their planets and technologies, but about personal experiences and reflections, inspired by their day spent with Earth's pets. This newfound camaraderie was a testament to the simple yet profound idea that relationships with animals could indeed serve as a universal bond, transcending the vast differences between species from across the galaxy. The seeds of understanding, planted through the joy and simplicity of pet companionship, were beginning to bear fruit, paving the way for deeper connections and respect among the once distant delegates. As the Earth Visitation Program neared its halfway mark, the bond between the interstellar delegates and their earthly pet companions had grown deeper, surpassing expectations. The intergalactic Friendship Park buzzed with activity and heartfelt interactions that were increasingly poignant. During a morning session designed for the delegates to share insights from their experiences, Vorn, now frequently seen with Max by his side, took the stage. He stood before the gathered assembly, his luminous form subtly reflecting his emotional state. "When I first arrived, I believed that understanding and learning would be purely intellectual," Vorn confessed. "But through Max, I have experienced a different kind of knowledge, the emotional intelligence that pets like him bring to their families. It's a quieter, gentler wisdom that speaks directly to the heart." Zarek, with his containment suit delicately misted in hues of blue and green, shared his own revelations. The tranquil existence of the fish and their silent communication through movement and color have taught me much about serenity and the nonverbal understanding between creatures, he reflected. It's a stark contrast to the hustle of galactic diplomacy, yet it brings a similar peace. T'Pri presented a technical analysis of her time with the robotic dog, but her conclusion was unexpectedly personal. "While I initially approached this as an experiment in programming and response mechanisms, I've come to recognize the underlying purpose of companionship, something that transcends the organic and synthetic divide. It is about the shared experiences and mutual learning." Thurp's findings about the ant colony drew particular interest. "I've discovered parallels between our species and these earth ants. Both societies are built on cooperation and communication, but there is an emotional component in the human-pet bond that is profoundly affecting, something that might benefit even a collective consciousness like ours." The session concluded with the delegates agreeing on one unexpected point. The human capacity for emotional connection with different species was not a sign of weakness or frivolity, as some had initially thought, but a sophisticated and enriching aspect of their culture. In the days that followed, the delegates took part in a series of cultural exchanges and educational tours around Earth. They visited various habitats and conservation projects, seeing firsthand the human effort to preserve and enhance the lives of both wild and domesticated animals. This exposure broadened their understanding of Earth's biodiversity and the intricate ways in which humans interacted with their environment. One particularly impactful visit was to a rehabilitation center for injured wildlife, where the delegates observed the dedication of Earth's veterinarians and volunteers. This visit illustrated the deep care humans extended towards animals, further challenging the delegates' preconceptions about Earth and its people. As the program drew to a close, a final roundtable discussion was held. The ambassadors, now visibly moved by their experiences, spoke of how what they had learned about humanity through their pets could influence their own societies. Perhaps, Vorn mused, incorporating these forms of emotional intelligence could foster deeper connections within our own species and across the galaxy. The Earth delegation, led by Ambassador Lin, listened with a mix of pride and relief. The gamble of inviting the galaxy to walk a mile in humanity's shoes, or rather to spend a week with humanity's pets, had paid off more richly than they had dared to hope. The bonds formed and lessons learned promised to echo beyond the confines of this visit, hinting at a more emotionally connected galaxy. As the delegates prepared to depart, they carried with them not just memories and experiences, but a new appreciation for the emotional depths that connected all forms of life. As the interstellar delegates prepared for their departure from Earth, a palpable sense of camaraderie and newfound respect filled the air. The simple, yet profound experiment of introducing them to Earth's pets had yielded more than just temporary bonds. It had sparked a deeper appreciation for the emotional complexities of human culture, which many had previously overlooked. Ambassador Lin convened a final session in the United Nations Specially Adapted Assembly Hall, where the delegates were invited to share their parting thoughts and how the visit would influence their views back home. Vorn stepped up first, his form shimmering with a soft glow that had become brighter over the days. "I came here out of curiosity and perhaps a bit of skepticism," he admitted. "But I leave with a profound respect, not only for humanity's emotional depth, but also for their intuitive understanding of other life forms. The bond between humans and their pets is a powerful testament to Earth's unique values. It teaches us that intelligence is not only measured by technology or conquest, but also by the capacity for empathy and compassion." Zarak, who had been quiet and contemplative throughout the program, shared his reflections next. The peaceful coexistence and mutual benefit between humans and their pets have given me much to ponder regarding our own approaches to life on Zephyra. We have technologies that surpass Earth's, yet this simple, harmonious connection with nature is something we have somewhat neglected. To Pri, whose experiences with the robotic dog had been an insightful journey, offered a synthesis perspective. On Nexus 5, we strive for efficiency and logic, often at the expense of emotional engagement. Observing Earth's pets interact with their human companions has shown me the value of integrating emotional algorithms into our systems to perhaps enhance our societal well-being. Thurp communicated through a series of bioluminescent flashes, translating his thoughts into human language. The ants and the humans have shown me two sides of the same coin, complex societies thriving on communication and cooperation. We can learn much from Earth's example, integrating more of these emotional and social elements into our own practices. As each delegate spoke, a theme emerged. Earth's seemingly mundane tradition of keeping pets had unveiled a spectrum of emotional intelligence that was now seen as an asset, an element of diversity and strength in the cosmic community. Ambassador Lin, feeling a mix of relief and accomplishment, addressed the gathering. Your openness to experience and learn from our world has been an invaluable part of this journey. We hope that the friendships and insights gained here extend beyond our pets and into lasting interstellar relations. As the meeting concluded, the delegates exchanged contact information and invitations to visit their respective homeworlds, a gesture that would have seemed overly optimistic just weeks earlier. The impact of the visit was not confined to the delegates alone. Across galaxies, the event was broadcast, and discussions about Earth's unique approach to interspecies relationships filled social and official channels. The Galactic Council, once skeptical of Earth's potential contributions, began to view Earth as a pioneer in emotional and ethical development. As the delegates departed, the bonds they formed with their earthly pet companions served as living symbols of the potential for empathy and understanding across the stars. Earth, once mocked for its simplicity and lack of advanced technology, was now celebrated for showcasing the power of emotional connections, setting a new precedent for what valuable contributions to the galaxy could look like. The success of the Earth Visitation Program marked a turning point not only for Earth's status within the Galactic Council, but also for how the galaxy perceived emotional intelligence and interspecies relationships. As the delegates made their way back to their respective star systems, carrying with them the lessons learned from their interactions with Earth's pets, the ripple effects of their experiences began to spread. In the wake of their departure, Ambassador Lin convened a special session with Earth's leaders and representatives from various global organizations to debrief and plan forward. The world had watched as their simplest companions, dogs, cats, birds, and more, had unknowingly become ambassadors in their own right, bridging vast cultural and technological divides. The session focused on harnessing this newfound respect and channeling it into broader diplomatic and cultural initiatives. Meanwhile, news of the program's success reached the far corners of the galaxy, transmitted via the interstellar communication networks. On Vaynor, Vorn led a symposium discussing the potential for incorporating more empathy into Vaynorian society, inspired by his time with Max, the Golden Retriever. He proposed exploratory missions to Earth to learn more about human social structures and emotional education programs. On Zephyra, Zorak initiated a project to reintroduce more natural elements into their aquatic habitats, using Earth's marine conservation strategies as a model. The peaceful coexistence he observed between humans and their aquatic pets sparked a movement to enhance Zephyra's environmental aesthetics and emotional wellness. Nexus 5 saw Pri returning with plans to integrate emotional algorithms into their systems. The synthetic intelligence community began experimenting with companion robots that could form bonds with their users, mirroring the interactions Pri had studied with the robotic dog on Earth. Thorpe shared his insights on the ant colony with the Jalarian Central Mind, leading to a reevaluation of their own community dynamics and the introduction of new communication protocols based on Earth's natural models. Back on Earth, the global community celebrated the acceptance into the Galactic Council, marked by a grand ceremony broadcasted live across countless planets. Ambassador Lin, accompanied by a few of Earth's beloved pets, addressed the galaxy. Today, we stand before you not just as members of this prestigious council, but as proud representatives of a planet where love, empathy, and companionship transcend species, she declared. We are eager to share with you all that makes our world unique, and we are ready to learn from you in return. The ceremony concluded with a display of Earth's cultural and natural diversity, from traditional dances to panoramic views of its landscapes and cityscapes, each accompanied by humans and their pets living in harmony. As Earth celebrated its new role within the Galactic Council, the idea of pets spread like a warm light across the stars. Many planets began to introduce Earth-style pet programs, finding in them not just joy and companionship, but also a deeper understanding of their own emotional capacities. The once mocked planet had not only proven its worth, but had also introduced a new paradigm to the galaxy, one where the power of simple, heartfelt connections could pave the way for a more empathetic and united cosmic community. Earth's pets, once seen as an amusing curiosity, had become a symbol of Earth's unique contribution to the galaxy, proving that sometimes the smallest hearts can teach the biggest lessons.